Okay. Hello, and welcome to Bible Study 2023. I'm Reverend Dr. Jeffrey Goodine, pastor of Church on Wheels, spoken word out of Deltona, Florida. I keep trying to say, I keep wanting to say Orange City, but I've been saying Orange City for 7 years. But thank you all for tuning in. We really appreciate it. Like us on YouTube at Pastor Jeffrey Goodine. Subscribe, hit the bell to be notified. Like us on Facebook. Follow us at Church on Wheels, Let the Good News Roll. Facebook Live, Jeffrey Goodine. Twitter, which is now X, at Goodine Jeffrey. And Instagram, Goodine Jeffrey. And Clubhouse, Church on Wheels Ministry. Thank you all for tuning in. We really appreciate it. And if you want to, and I noticed tonight that someone's on the mailing list. I got so many names. I got names on there. I didn't even look at the list. His name is on the list, so he's getting it double. He gets it sent out, and he gets it in the hard copy, and he prints his own hard copy out. So if you want a copy of the handout, send me an email, pastorjeffreygoodine@gmail.com, pastorjeffreygoodine@gmail.com, and I will add you to the mailing list, and you will get a copy of the handout so that you could follow along with us during Bible study, so that you could tune in, invite a friend, have a watch party. We are going to continue our book study in the book of Psalms. Now, a little background on the book of Psalms. The book of Psalms is really a song book. These are hymns or things to be chanted, or however you want to look at it. And they're songs. And so when you're doing Psalms, when you're reading Psalms, it is really in divisions. Now, we don't really say chapters in Psalms. It's really divisions. But if you say chapter, then okay, it's okay. But really, it's about Psalms. Now, David wrote a lot of them, but not all of them. And the psalm that we have tonight, Psalm 46, and I want to focus on verse 10, but Psalm 46. Psalm 46, and verse 10 is going to be our focus tonight. Even though there are others, and it takes the all 11 verses are dealing with a situation per se. And verse 10 is God making a statement. Now, the rest of it kind of speaks in like the third person per se. They're talking about. So when we look at verse 10, and verse 10, be still and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the heathen. I will be exalted in the earth. That is the King James Version. When we take a look at this, and the author of this is to the chief musician for the sons of Korah. Now, when you think about the sons of Korah, in the Bible, they were the musicians in the church. Well, Korah was appointed the head, whatever you want to call it. Let's say choir director. How about that? Well, this is to the sons of Korah. These are people, that are under him. And it is a song upon Alamoth. Now, this psalm is, the historical context of this song is that it's the presence of God in calamity. Now we know calamity, calamity would be how, things are going on in our lives. If you've never been in a calamity,
you're lucky.
Hold on, it's coming. Okay. Now, one thing about this, and it's always disputed, can be disputed. This psalm is referencing to Hezekiah when Hezekiah was in rule. So they're saying that Hezekiah in the battles, that he was worried about life. He was worried. The enemy was around. Things are just in upheaval. Remember Hezekiah now. Remember Hezekiah asked something that the angel came to him and told him, get your stuff in order because you're going to die. And Hezekiah, as the Bible says, Hezekiah turned and prayed to God and said, remember the good things I did. His life was in, things going on around him. And he asked something of God. And God gave him some more time. Go read the story of Hezekiah. You'll see that in his life there were some calamity, I guess, if you want to call it that. We use that word tonight, calamity. Look it up in the dictionary. It's a $3 word, $4 if you can spell it, and $5 if you use it in a sentence correctly. But
Sadly, Jane lived in the West.
So they attribute this song with Hezekiah. Now, we know that he had some troubles, just like all of the rulers and the kings and the rulers. They all had trouble. All of them had trouble. It's just that they knew who to call on. And when the word came to Hezekiah that he was going to die and not live, that's a strong thing, that you will die and not live. That meant that you're on your way out of here. Now, if God came to us in our lives and said, you will die and not live, then that's a final, however you want to look at it. That's the final. God said, you will die and not live. So Hezekiah prayed to God. Well, this song to the sons of Korah, they're saying that that at times in our lives, and we, think about it. Every big problem in our life is a calamity. Okay? And especially it's a calamity if we can find somebody to agree with us that it's a calamity. Okay? Sometimes things that happen in our lives are really not as big as we put it up to be. Sometimes we make it more than what it is until we turn it over to God. Now, when we turn it over to Him, then for some reason there's a peace. But the presence of God in a calamity. Now, in verse 1 of this psalm, it says, God is our refuge and strength, very present help in trouble. Now, think about it. The present help, not past help. Because the problems you were dealing with yesterday, that's in the past. He's a present help today. Right now, the trouble you're in, he's a present help. You just got to call on him. Present help. Now, whatever problems, if you're lucky enough and blessed enough to make it to tomorrow, which is not promised, then you're going to have a whole new set of calamities. Say, I use that in the plural. Calamities. I dropped the Y, add I and ES. Change the Y to I, add ES. See, I learned something in school. You know.
You must went to school.
Yeah, I went to school. I got a degree. Okay. Yeah, I got one of them degrees. Now, think about it. If he is a present help in our situation, in our trouble for that day, then we can call on him. See, the psalmist is saying here that he's supposed to sing this song. We're supposed to sing this song that God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. Well, you know, we call on him in trouble. The presence of God in a calamity. And when you read through the song, picture yourself in trouble. And all of the things that go along with it, and all of the analogies and things that are in this song. Troubled waters, you know, mountains getting bigger and swelling. Look at our problems getting bigger. You know, that's the mountain. And when we look at the mountain, it keeps getting bigger. And we figure there's no way to get around it. But we got a present help. And that's what the psalmist is saying. This is a present help. Now this help, you have to call. You got to trust. You got to trust. But now let's look at verse 10. Now when you read down through this in Psalm 47, you'll see him in action. You'll see your calamity. Now, whatever it is, whatever's going on in your life, you know, the calamity, whatever's happening in your life, God is a present help. So, in the verse 1 to 10, it's speaking in the third person. Someone's talking about. And then in verse 10, God speaks. Says, be still. Now, let's look at that for a moment. Be still. God is saying, you done done all you could do. You can't do no more. So now just stand still. Be still and know that I am God. So whatever trouble you're going on in your life, whatever it is that you claim that's overwhelming you, God said, I can fight that battle you can't fight. That battle is too much for you. And when we learn that, when we learn that the battle is not ours, it's the Lord's, I think we will be much happier and you know, because a lot of times we fight battles that's not even ours. You know, we you know, sometimes we do. We just fight battles that are not ours. And it weighs us down. It takes our focus off of what's really important. We're fighting a battle. It's too big for us. Do you notice that whenever you try to fight whatever, and then you said, okay, I can't do no more. I'm gonna turn it over to God. He'll take care of it. Do you know at that moment there's a peace that comes over you? And you should be saying, why didn't I do that at the beginning? That would have cut out a whole lot of worration, a whole lot of heartache, a whole lot of headache. The God is saying, be still and know that I am God. and know that I am God. So you be still. And you know, I say when you've done all you could do, and you can't do no more, stand. Just stand still and watch him work. See, I don't say, we really can't see how God works until we stand still. But a lot of times we're just in the way. We don't recognize, we don't realize that he's working it all out for us. But we try to work it out ourselves, and we kind of, you know, get in the way per se. But here, the psalmist is saying that in this life of mine, and all the calamities and things, God spoke to me. God spoke to me, but he didn't tell me. See, God didn't tell me. He didn't say, I'm going to take the calamity away. He didn't say that. He just says, be still. That means stop. You know, you're in the way. Stop. In whatever situation of calamity, yeah, let's use that word calamity tonight. That's the BSAP word of the week. Whenever this is going on in your life, and you're probably experiencing it right now, you say, be still and know that I'm God. You know, our problem is that we want to believe that God is going to take care of it. But we also believe that we can help God take care of it, which don't make no sense. If you believe that God can take care of it, then why do you believe that you can help God take care of it? And what God is saying in this is that in anything that's going on in your life, any, you know, calamity, be still. Because you're fighting a battle. It's too big. You're fighting a battle that's too big. And when you read through the first 10 verses, you will see the calamity that's going on. And we can use that as a way of all the things that happen in our lives. So, the historical context of this Psalm 46, is the presence of God in calamity. He's there. You just got to call on him. But first, you have to sit, you have to be still. God said, be still and know that I am God. Which means now you got to trust him. You got to know he's God. You got to know that God's true. You know that he's going to do it. You've seen him do it in the past for you, and he'll do it right now. So you've got to trust him. You got to know that he is God. And when you know that he is God, then you know the things that God does. And in reference, in any reverence that you show him because he's God. You know who he is. So God is saying in this song, be still and know that I am God. Not think that I'm God or hope that I'm God that will take care of your situation to help you fight this battle. But know that I am God. And he says that I will be exalted among the heathens. When we read in the Bible, we know that the demons say, you know, are you coming? And they look, just, are you coming to destroy us? And he told the disciples, I know Jesus, but I don't know you. Trust me, the demons know. They know. They know who God is. See, they don't have a doubt. Not at all. Who God is. God just don't, just leave us alone. You know, we didn't know, they're trying to tell God, okay, God, no harm, no foul. But then God gave him an opportunity. He said, well, look, there's some swine over there. Can we go get in that swine over there? And then the demons did. And then, you know, the swine ran down the hill and drowned itself in the water. They know God. But do you know he's God? He will be exalted among the heathen. Said even the heathen know who he is. And know his power. And know his power. I will be exalted in the earth. Exalted. That's why I see believers in God and his son Jesus Christ. What he will do is he will exalt you in their eyes so that they will know who he is. They know that it couldn't have been nobody but God. And we can say that it was nobody but God. But it takes our human part to get out of the way. We have to stand still. So God said, be still and know that I am God. Be still. Be still. See, be still means do nothing. Do you know, I read somewhere that they said about the Americans. They said Americans are always moving. Even when they're sitting down, they got a rocking chair. They keep moving. Now, you know, I mean, you know, at first I didn't, you know, I was like, yeah, ha, ha, ha. So now I got a recliner that's a rocker. And, you know, and you're right. When I sit down in there in the chair, I say I'm sitting down and doing nothing, but actually I'm rocking. So that's what they said, you know, about Americans, is that we don't stand still, that we're always going. And even when we're sitting down, we're moving. And I was like, you know, no. And then I got a recliner, this rocker, and then I found myself. So I don't, you know, I've learned that I'll listen to what they're saying. But, you know, but think about it.
Listen a little closer.
Yeah, I listen a little closer now, you know, like, yeah, okay, he's got a point. But God said, be still. And know that he's God. He didn't say, look, the thing about, I say that we know of God, but do we know God? Well, the only way to get to know God is through his son, Jesus Christ. It's the only way to the Father. Now, people say there are a lot of other ways. You know, hey, go for it.
I think Jesus is.
Yeah, he says the only way to get to the Father is through him. So that in order for him to work, we got to be still and know that he's God. And know that our way to God is through the Son, Jesus Christ. That's how I'm today. But here, the psalmist is saying that this is my life. This is the things that are going on in my life. These are the storms. My mountains are swelling. The rivers are roaring. You know, things are just going on around me. The heathen is after me. You know, everything. And I'm trying to fight a battle that I just can't fight. I don't know which way to turn. They're coming from all angles. And I don't know where to turn. And so God says, be still and know that I am God. Now also in this song, you will see the word Selah, S-E-L-A-H. When you're reading the Psalms, or when you're singing the Psalms, and when you're chanting the Psalms, do not pronounce that word. That word means pause. So you're pausing between stanzas, I guess. That's what Selah means. Or that's what Selah is. You're not to pronounce that word when you're reading the song. Even though we read it and we see it, but really in singing, because these are songs, you do not sing Selah. That is a pause. That's why that's why and they fit together in that, because the song or songs and Selah is a pause when you're singing the song, or change it to a different stanza, I guess, or something. I'm not a singer, so I try, but I don't have much of a tune, but it is what it is. So he's saying, be still. So the question today is, what is the significance of this song? Does anybody? Again, Facebook, you can send your comments. Clubhouse, you can request to speak, and you will be you'll be put on and you'll be live. You request to speak. But what is the significance of the song?
You want the short version? Let go, let God.
Right.
Exactly.
Exactly. That's short to the point. Let go and let God. I mean, he's telling us that we're fighting a battle that it's too big for us.
You gotta remember that God's in control.
Right. God is in control.
Whether you think it or not.
Yeah, whether you think it or not, or whether you want to believe it or not. But my thing is that it's so hard for us as humans our humanistic nature gets in the way. And I did a morning prayer on meekness. The meek shall inherit the earth. Well, what does meek mean? Meek doesn't mean you're weak. What meek means is that you have trusted God. That's what meek means. That you have trusted Him, and that you have turned it over to Him. Meekness. Said the meek shall inherit the earth. Well, you have to be meek. You have to give up your humanistic ideologies, or whatever we say, however we want to look at it, and let God lead you. Because He can't do nothing with you when you're trying to solve it. So that's why in here it's saying, be still. And because we feel that we're strong enough. I mean, yeah, we all figure we're strong enough. We only strong enough on people we believe that we can beat. People we believe that we are stronger than, that we have more strength than they got. So we figure we're not afraid. Well, we become afraid, more cautious, when we reason that the trouble that's in front of me is bigger than that. That the person that I'm dealing with is stronger than me. And so we become afraid. Now, how do we handle that? God said that we have to become meek. So when you see in this song, in Psalm 46, he's fighting. He realized that this calamity in his life is more than he can handle. More than they can handle. They say that the rivers are roaring and the mountain is swelling and everything is going on. I just don't know. I know, God, I know you're there. I believe you're there. but I'm still in this turmoil. But God is a present help, not a past help. He helped you yesterday in your problems yesterday. And if you're lucky enough to make tomorrow, you're going to have a whole new set. Well, He is a present help right now. That's what this psalm is about. And again, it's attributed to Hezekiah. Because remember, Hezekiah, the word came to Hezekiah that you will die and not live. Hezekiah prayed and said, God, remember the good things I did. Because God, the word came, you gonna die and not live. Now, come on now, we don't say things like that. We just say, I'm gonna kill them, but we just say, I'm gonna kill them when I get my hands on them. You really don't do. But God said, you gonna die and not live. So your chances, it just went out to Slim and none, and Slim didn't make the trip. I'm telling you. So now Hezekiah prays to God. Because in Hezekiah, when you read Hezekiah, when you read the Bible, you see there's calamity in his life. Just like with all the leaders, there's calamity in their lives. And his was something that he could not fix. And he's troubled. Now let's look at it, let's look at our life. Let's look at our lives. We're troubled. We're troubled. Now people say, well, look, I tell them, when you come to church, you're supposed to leave your troubles outside the door. It don't happen. We're human. We bring our troubles inside the church, wanting some peace from our troubles. But in verse 10, God said, be still and know that I am God. Which means there are two things you need to do. See, we have a God of and, not or. Or means a choice. No, we have a God of and, a God of multiplication. We have a God of and. He said, do this and do this. And when you do that, I will do this and I will do that. He's saying, be still first. And all of our problems. He said, be still. That means sit down. Shut up. However you want to put on be still. And now look, when you do your own study in this, you're going to see some words and things are going to come up and some synonyms or whatever. It all means the same thing. God is saying, stop. The problem is too big for you to handle. But you got to recognize that the problem is too big. Now, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Clubhouse, congregation, anybody can hear me. When do you realize that the problem is too big? Yeah, when you tried everything in your human nature.
You're beating your head against the
Right.
wall. You're not getting anywhere.
Right,
When it's
yeah.
like too late.
Yeah, you bet. Yeah, you run up. You run your head up against the wall, and the wall ain't moving, and and then and at that point, we get tired.
And your head hurts.
Right, and the head hurts. We get tired, and then we said, God, I don't know. When we throw our hands up and say, God, I don't know what else to do. That's when he said, okay, now be still and watch me work. Now, you cannot see God working while you're moving. Because you're too busy, you miss it. You miss God working. You say, well, you know, you want something big, but God said, wait a minute, I'm gonna do them little small things along the way. See, them little small things leading, you know, a whole bunch of small things equal a big thing. A whole bunch of small things. As they say, you know, you can walk from here to California. Yes, you can, one step at a time. Eventually, you'll get there. Now, there's some problems, there's some things you're going to have to go through, but you can get there walking. Okay? You can do it walking. So, small things. But when we too busy worrying about the problem, and when you see the psalmist here talking about, you know, the rivers of water is flowing, he can't stop the water flowing. The mountain you look at seems to just swelling and getting bigger. You know, and that's when God say, be still. Watch me work. Now, when he say watch me work, what he's saying is that I'm going to exalt you in their eyes so that they will know who I am. Because they'll know that it wasn't you didn't do it.
Amen.
You didn't do it. So there's got to be some other factor. It's that present help. It's that present help.
Hallelujah.
Now, this is one thing that, you know, there's a stipulation for this present help. You got to call and trust. You got to call. Now he's right there. Now look what the psalmist said. Now when you read Psalm 46, you see what's going on in his life. Now put yourself in Psalm 46. And you probably today you might be, you know, for you looking at this now, your rivers might be roaring right now. The mountain you're looking at might be swelling right now. But he said, be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am God. Trust, believe. So I say the significance of the song is like Brian said, let go and let God.
Yes.
Let him fight the battle. Because, you know, the battle is not ours, it's the Lord's. And he's just waiting for us to call on him. Now, question number 2. What is the role of this psalm in worship and devotion? Now, even though this is not assigned to David, they're saying that this is that David did not write this psalm. You'll say that it's an unknown author. Some's gonna say, like I say, it's attributed to Hezekiah, and it could be contributed to any one of the kings and the leaders because all of them had calamity in their life. All of them. And then, you know, we got to know. But you think about it, what is the role of the psalm in worship and devotion? Now, worship. He's God. And God all by himself. And he's telling you in this, in this psalm, God speaks. After you have presented all your problems.
Yes.
You recognize your problems. And then God speaks. So in your worship, you worship him in truth and in spirit. You worship him. That's where our devotion is. Our devotion, and we are devoted to him. Why? It's because he's our present help.
Yes.
Now, I tell you what. You get in trouble, call Pastor Goodine. See how far that go. Okay?
If he's done laughing.
Yeah. Yeah. See how far that go.
You won't even answer the phone.
Yeah, probably won't answer the phone. Yeah, and she said, probably won't answer the phone. If I don't know, if I don't recognize the number, you know.
You didn't even know I was on the email.
Right. I didn't even know he was on my email list. You know, but you think about it.
Yes.
Our present help. So if our present help is him, that is the focus of our worship and our devotion
Hallelujah.
to him in our times of trouble. You know, but now I want you to understand what he says in this song. He didn't say I wasn't going to stop the rivers from roaring. He didn't say I'm going to stop the mountains from swelling. He didn't say that. What he says is be still,
Amen.
for I am God. That river can roll all it wants. That mountain can swell all it wants. If you be still, then you can watch me work. And all of us have seen God work. You know, all of us have seen God work. Now, you know, those of you that, you know, those of you that are, you know, surfing or spanning or whatever they call it, going through thing, and then you happen to see this, you done been in it too, and you done called on him. You know he done it for you. You just ain't telling your friends. But you know he's done it for you. And you know when he did it for you? When you were still. And you couldn't do no more. That's what he's telling in this song. That he is the item of worship. He is the item of devotion.
Yes.
Why? It's because he says, I am God. Now, he says you're supposed to know that. Now, there's some things we know and we don't know. We claim we know him, but we don't know him. And the little bit that we do know in the scheme of life is about this much.
Amen. For
Now, I'm
sure.
trying not to let my fingers touch, because my fingers touch, that means we don't know nothing, we know something. Okay, in the scheme of life, it's about that. But there's one thing he's telling you to do, is know that he is God. Now, if you know that he is God, here we go. If you know he's God,
Glory.
then you know what God can do. You have attributed those things to God.
Yes.
You attributed them so that when you know that he's God, you know he can do it. You know it.
Yes.
And you rest on that. Now, the last one, I looked at my watch. Mike, don't you say a word
I'm out of
either.
patience.
Mike, don't say
I'm
anything.
out of postage.
don't say anything. Yeah, 'cause he put a post-it note across my watch one day in Bible study. He said, stop looking at your watch. I'm just,
Hallelujah.
anyway, never mind. That's why I told Mike, don't say, y'all have to come, you got to come to church on Real Spoken Word to know what that means. Okay. Now, number 3, how is this song relevant in our lives today? Now, whew. Wow. Now you know how relevant it is in your life today, because only you know your troubles. You and God know your troubles. Now, just because we smiling, that don't mean that we ain't got calamity going on in our lives. But you know what that smile means? That smile means that you trusted God to take care of it. You got out of the way. Now, our problem is that we take it to God, and then we said, okay, God, you take this. And then when we get ready to leave, guess what we do? We take it from God back. God said, well, if you want it, there it is. And he's looking, say, you'll be back in a minute, don't worry.
Amen.
I'll be right here where you left me. The minute we take it back, God said, I'll be right here when you get back. And do you know we wrestle with that thing and we wrestle with that thing? We wrestle with it is because we think we can take care of it. We've already come to the conclusion that it's too big, it's too much. But for some reason in our humanistic ways, we don't want to show any weakness, and being meek is not weakness. Being meek means that you let God control everything. That's why they said the meek shall inherit the earth. So here, the psalmist is saying, these are my problems. They're more than I can handle. And he's calling on that present help. So the psalmist is making sure that we sing this song. Now, I don't know the tune of it. I'm not even going to try to know the tune of it. But when you figured out the tune to sing this song, or as they say, to chant this song, remember when you get to the word Selah, you don't say it. That means pause.
Stop and consider.
Right, it's pause. You don't say that word. It's just in the song. Just like if we were singing a stanza in a song and then we've done the chorus, and then before we get to the next stanza, we kind of pause a little bit. But that's what Selah means. You don't say it. Now when we're reading it in our studies, we see the word, but that word really is not part of, it's part of the song in action, not in words. So, in the song, and all of the Psalms. Now I know when we read some songs, when we read the Psalms, we don't think of them as songs, but they are. Now, just because you don't know the tune to it, that don't mean it ain't a song, okay? Just trust me, okay? I can't carry a tune in a bucket across the street, but I can tell you